Hello again, everyone. I need to make a card for a friend of mine. She is 3 days older than I am, so I can't really forget her birthday. I couldn't think what to do for her. She does quite like funny cards, you know, humorous ones, not funny peculiar. But I don't know. I had a fancy for using an aperture. I have loads of aperture dies, as you can see. I've got a selection here of these. Make an aperture in the front panel of a card, and you can have something showing through the aperture and maybe something across. But I thought I would just have a go. What can I do to make this kind of die with regular dies that anybody might have? So I've got 2 here to go at, and I chose circles and I chose some foliage. I think this fern was one of the giveaways in a magazine. This one is either Memory Box or Simon Says Stamp, I think, can't remember exactly. But I chose circles from my Presscut selection, which are just slightly smaller than the leaf that I've chosen to go with it. These are my Presscut dies in here. On the circles, you can see that there's so many to choose from that you can probably get just the size that you need. There's about 32 in the set, I think. I don't get round to using the big ones because I don't do scrapbooking. I don't do huge cards, but someday, who knows, they might come in handy for something. I could use them for shaping cards or whatever. Anyway, those are my Presscut dies. So I have cut 2 card bases. I've cut 2 card panels, and I propose, I've actually cut just one of those. I probably need to cut another one. I've cut 2 of these. I've got them under here because I think the expanse across there is too big for a single layer. I want to put 2 together to give it a bit more strength. And I've had this funny idea. I don't know where I get these things from, but my friend is a widow. She's been a widow for some years now, and her husband's name was Robin, and I just wanted to put a little reference to Robin in her card, and I've picked out a couple of sets of dies here. This little tiny one, I'm not sure if he's a Robin or what, but he looks kind of Robin-like, is from Poppy Stamps, and this little bunch is from Charlie and Portion, and there's one on here. I don't intend colouring it. I think that would be a bit obvious. That's this little chap. And the Robin I kind of like is that one, and he looks like a Robin even though he's not coloured. He's got that little rounded breast like that, and I thought I might like to put him in amongst the foliage or something like that, so that, you know, a bit subtle, but she might just spot it. So what I intend to do is to just put a circle onto one of the front panels. I'm going to just tape it with some low-tack tape because I don't want it to shift once I put it through my machine. And I want it absolutely central, so I'm looking all these 4 places to make sure that they're the same. I do not actually measure. I think if I measured, I'd get in a real pickle and probably make a bit of a pig's breakfast. So I'm just going to cut this one out. My cutting machine is behind me now. So here it is. Here's my aperture. I'll save this panel. It might come in useful for something. So there's my front panel. Now my intention is to stick these 2 together and have them so that the tips of the stems and the tips of the outer leaves will just be touching the top panel, and I intend putting something underneath. So let me just join these 2 together for a moment. I use some of this glue. Covers more in one go. Oops-a-daisy. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. Right. I don't think this makes quite as much noise as some of my other ones as it goes scratching across. My grandson's down watching the Ashes with his grandpops. My granddaughter's been trying to get tickets for Taylor Swift, and I think she's kind of missed out. She said she had them in her basket and then, whoops, they were gone. So perhaps somebody beat her to it. I've never tried those kind of things, so I wouldn't know what's entailed with tickets for concerts, gigs, whatever you call them. I don't know what you call them, really. Right, let's try and get these two together. Here we go. Somebody's creeping in. Right. Oops. I don't feel that there's quite as much manoeuvrability with Nuvo glue as there is with Zig, but I've wrecked my fat Zig one. Oh, I have a granddaughter behind me. You going to say hello?
Hi.
Hi, that's Daisy. Right, she didn't get a ticket, sadly, did you, Daisy?
No.
No, shame. Anyway, there'll be another day. She's actually already got tickets, but this was for a second visit. She's got a friend of her mum's managed to get tickets for her, so she is going to the concert anyway on one day, but she was hoping to go a second time. Right, here we go. Put that across there like that. Now I want to put something behind it, and I was thinking of just a plain piece of card, and I thought I would emboss it. This embossing folder is just kind of stripes. So if you don't have an embossing folder and you want stripes, you can do it on your scoreboard, so it's no big deal really. Just going to emboss this now. Oh gosh, it's hard work. Oh, crumbs. Right, here we go. This is to make it just really, really simple. So there's my piece of card to go behind. I have to cut it down, obviously, but it makes the leaves so much more dramatic, doesn't it? And I thought somewhere or other we could pop in a little robin. Where would he go nicely? Somewhere like that. I think it would be quite nice to have the front panel raised just slightly. Let's just stick those few leaves on the outside. Let's clean up this mess first before we get in a real pickle. There we go. It's quite sticky, this glue. Right. I don't think I'll use the fat one. I'll use a thinner one for the tips of the leaves. Right, what have I got to do? Which ones? Tips of the stems. Those two. Okay, let's try. Tips of the stems. And this one, not that one, this one, this one. Not sure about that, but I'll give it a little bit. Let's just see. Right. There we go. Just need to pinch those together. Oh, they've gone together anyway. That's good. Now, these ones would probably benefit from a tiny bit of foam tape on as well to keep them away from the base layer. So here's my foam tape. I'm going to put some around the outside. I'm going to put some around the circle. And, whoops, that looks a bit curly, doesn't it? Let's just... That's better. Some around the circle and a few bits. I'll snip up some tiny bits to put behind some of the leaves. I think it will make quite a difference. You could use some of your jelly plate printing behind here, some designer paper if you've got some quiet stuff that's not too in your face. You could use alcohol ink backgrounds. You know, you could do so much. So let's just put them around the circle. Some people like to bend their foam tape. I prefer to put it on in strips. I think sometimes if you try and bend it, there's sometimes a tendency to get like a tuck in it, which wouldn't lie flat. So I actually prefer just to do strips. But if it works for you to bend it, then you bend it. You have to take the top layer off if you want to do that. But I just don't like doing it. So, each to their own. Now you can see the ones that are sort of floating. So I'm going to cut some tiny, tiny bits for those. So if I hold it on my finger. Put that on there. Behind that one. Let's have a tiny sliver. On this one. Oops, missed my aim. That's better. And a couple more for these two here, and maybe that one too. The rest they've got a bit of an anchor on the border of the circle, on the edge of it. If you put the foam tape onto your finger like this before you cut it, just attach it to your finger. You cut it really close and it doesn't go flying. At least it shouldn't. It did with me the other day, I remember, but the thoughts behind it. I think one more piece for this little chap here, and then we'll probably be okay. Right, there we go. Now, I need to cut this down. I'll just cut a chunk off the side, I think. I'll cut this down here anyway. Fine. Right, just take all these bits off. I need to try and make, because these are vertical, these lines, I want to make sure that they are actually vertical and not just a bit squiffy. So, take these off. I have to put a little bit of foam tape onto the robin as well. Been friends for a very long time, ever since we moved back from America, so it's about 40 odd years. So, really good friend. I think both sides look pretty much identical, really. So, let me look. I think that's fine. There we go. So simple. Right, let's put the whole thing onto the card base now. Last piece. Just put a little bit of glue stick on here, just so that it doesn't grab the card so hard that it won't move if I've got it in the wrong place. Right, check that the thing's the right way round, and drop it into position. There we go. Now I've just got the little robin to put in. He needs a bit of foam tape on the back. There we go. The other one should be absolutely really, really quick because it's very similar. Technique. Idea, really. Where shall we put him? Here he is. Let's take his backing off. Hold him in my tweezers so I can take a look. Where shall we have Mr. Robin? Let's have him there, shall we? Right in the middle. Now, whether I put a happy birthday in or not, I don't know. But simple card. The effect of one of these aperture dies with just probably bits that you've got yourself. Let's quickly do this one. It won't take a moment. I will stick this down again just to make sure that it's centralised. I think that's all right there. Oops, that was all my dies falling down. All those aperture dies. Be able to pick them up with my magic magnet, which became very useful today. My extending arm lit magnet helped me find a tiny, tiny die that I dropped on the floor. So here's this. For this one, I thought I'd just use random dots and just see what you think it might look like. You can do this kind of business. You can just put it in the folder without having done it, and just to get an idea what you think it would look like. And I think that would look quite nice. So I'm going to put it through the folder. Oh dear, it's hard work. There we go. Now I need to cut a piece of this off. Be really fast. Need to cut it down as well. Oh, I don't need to put that, that's fine. Right, foam tape. Yep. There's my sticky scissors. Non-stick, they are supposed to be non-stick scissors, but they do get a bit sticky. If they get too bad at any time, I just spray them with some stick away from Crafter's Companion. Cleans them up a treat. Right, there we go, nearly finished. I can hear footsteps again. Yeah. Right, almost there. A couple more pieces and we'll be done. Right. Attach that bit of blue behind. Do we like the look of that? I think that's fine. Right, take off our backing. I need to take the sides off of this as well because this piece is a little bit wider. I can add some tape runner to the back of the blue, which will be fine. There we go. Take these two off. I think I may well make a little computer sentiment for this one with the happy birthday with her name, just to go across there. I think that looked quite nice actually. So, a bit of tape runner over this. There we are. Here's my card front. Yeah, I'm the right way. I always like to check just to make sure. There we go. And then we can stick that over there like that. And again, we could have another little sentiment. Actually, looking at the thickness of this, I will cut an extra, make it a bit stronger. So there we go. 2 really quick, really simple cards. Making an aperture die, an interesting one, from just plain circles and maybe another die that you have in your stash. As ever, do like the videos that you like, give them a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, that would be great if you could. Thanks also to all those really kind people who've bought me a coffee. I really, really appreciate it, and thank you so much for watching.